All right, so let's go ahead and get started with this. I'll record this as well. So we'll start recording. What I'm going to do, we had a great session here this morning, and we talked about how to take the trendy indicators, trendy levels to your advantage. And basically, this trade itself was set up to move into the trendy edges and the line in the sand. And now that things have kind of just sitting here and starting to flag at the levels, we're going to go ahead and go into a different portion of today, and that is figuring out levels before news actually hits. Okay, so a lot of people don't think that this can be done. It can. You could do it by using structure, and that's it, and a little bit of Fibonacci. All right, so supply and demand, some Fibonacci, and then we're going to also dive into Costco with no bias. I don't care what I think will happen after the earnings. All I care about is the structure. The next thing we'll be looking at is NVDA. Same thing, no bias, just looking at structure. So let's go ahead and get on with it. So the SPY, what's important to understand is that FOMC, earnings, any sort of catalyst, all it does is push price into our levels. Okay, understand that. If you think about it, if we didn't have news or some sort of catalyst, the market would probably always only go up, right? So you have to create news in order for big price fluctuations. What we want to do is find out where the best interest is in these names by, again, looking at structure. I had to turn down Alexa just for a second. Let's go ahead. We are going to start with the daily candle, because if you think about it, I want to understand what could happen into the FOMC minutes. And Bullard is also speaking today. I don't want to go to a monthly candle, right? Because I know that this is just going to be a temporary move. And so I want to understand where prices can move during that time. Okay. Let's go ahead and make this a little bit bigger here. Just like that. And it looks like I just got a buy signal over there on Costco, by the way. But let's start with SPY. All right, and then I'm going to take a look at structure. And when I look at the daily, there's a couple things that I understand right away. That the red cloud, or the EMA cloud, is telling me that every time price pushes into here, this is a great place for traders to get short. Okay, again, this is a great place for traders to get short during this downtrend. Okay, that's the first thing that I know. Now here, I also want to look up and to the left and look for structure and see where price could push to if for some reason something is said where everyone is excited about today. Okay, so we're going to use trendy edges, we're going to use the EMAs, and we're going to use candle structure. On the daily, I'm not seeing a whole lot. All right, and those are my signals going off. I'm not seeing a whole lot, so I'm going to go to the weekly just really fast. Okay, so when we started this week, we said that, or I said, that price would most likely settle within the body of last week's candle. This would create an inside candle for the week. So what I'm saying is, no matter what, even if price pushes this way, it will end up falling back within the body by Friday. That's the idea. And if you're a bull, guys, if price does not stay in the body and we get something like that, I'm still happy. Okay, I'm okay to be wrong in this scenario, because let's face it, we're all kind of tired of the market conditions that we're seeing. Okay, so here we are in the body, and so my idea here by using structure is that price will not move over the body. So I'm going to take this level, okay, just like this, and I'm going to bring that up into the body. Let's make sure that we have this magnet on. All right, and that's going to be my first level to the upside. Okay, and I'm going to take this green box off, guys. So members here in the room, if you want to know where that is, just go back to the last blueprints that I've given you. All right, we're going to take that off because I want to make this all about FOMC, just like that. All right, now I want to use some Fibonacci's. Okay, this is last week's candle. Okay, and I want to understand what are the Fibonacci's with this. I'm going to go to a smaller time frame. This is your daily, and we're going to use some trendy edges, and we understand that we're right here on the trendy edge, and this is resistance, okay? And then we can see down here that trendy edges to the downside are support, okay? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to copy this one. I'm just going to pull this down. For anybody that doesn't know how to do this, I just kind of accidentally did this once, but to duplicate without like right clicking, going to settings and you know that type of stuff, you just click on the level, you hold down control and check it out. You can move lines and shapes and all that kind of stuff to where you want it. All right, so we're going to move this down and I want to use this trendy edge here, okay, just like that. So these are my two levels to start the day off with, okay? This is the level that outlines the weekly candle to the upside, and right here is the future trendy edge to the downside. All right, these are my two levels for today's event. Now I'm going to keep breaking it down just to see if there's anywhere else I could use. Notice that here is what we call an inside and up. Notice that price keeps pushing up into the cloud and then it comes right back down into this inside and up and then goes bid. This is very standard supply and demand, okay? So it comes back into the demand level and then pushes back up into resistance. Notice that we have trendy edges here. When price is under the trendy edge, we look for it to be resistance, okay? All right, so this level is, pretty far out there, but I do believe that if something were said today that the market really liked, we would push back over the 4-hour cloud and we would get up there towards that body. So we're going to keep that level for now. The only one that I'm trying to figure out is whether or not I want to keep us this far down here, okay? And I would say most likely not. So I'm going to move now into a smaller time frame. We're going to go into 2 hours, just like that. And then I'm going to go to a 1 hour. And what I'm doing is I'm just looking for structure. All right, and once we get there, I'll be able to tell you. Okay, and there we are right there. So we're on the 1 hour. What I'm looking for is this inside and up. So let's go ahead and create a box. Okay, I'm going to create this box here. And I'm going to use, you want to look down and to the left. Okay, notice I have some signals here. I'm going to actually encompass both of these. Okay, they're so close together, I'm going to use both structures. So I'm going to pull this down about right there. All right, we're going to take this level and I'm going to place it here. I'm going to create this box. This is the box that I would expect to dip into if things are not so great, or maybe we just pull back into demand before FOMC minutes are released. So again, I would expect this to hold, and if it doesn't, then we'll move down into these levels I gave you a few minutes ago, around 388. Okay. All right, to the upside, again, this is my level to the upside, and it's pretty wide, so that's okay. All right, so we're going to come up here, and I'm going to use this edge, this trendy edge here, and we're going to come down, and it's going to look just like this. All right, just like that. And these are your levels that we are basically going to hit into today's FOMC. This is what I would expect. If for some reason, let me go ahead and explain this really quick. If for some reason we continue to move up here and we get past this level here and we get here, be cautious. What this is saying is that we are moving into resistance upon the release of the minutes. Even if we somehow are right here when either Bullard or the FOMC minutes are being released, you're coming into resistance. The idea is that the market is going to pull back as soon as those minutes are released or he starts talking. Doesn't mean that we're going to crash or anything like that, okay? This just means these are the levels that we're working with, all right? So again, I think we're range bound between these two boxes, all right? All right, so that is SPY. Let's go ahead and take a look at Costco. Like I said, I was getting a buy signal just a few minutes ago, but current price on this is down $1.25. I think earlier it was $4. Let's take a look really quick. On our auto signals, yeah, we got Costco at a buy. Yep, okay. And it's already played itself out. All right, so I want to look at structure. For this, I'm definitely going to use a higher time frame. Okay. And I've already kind of came up with a couple levels, but we'll go over them here. And by the way, guys, I think we were just talking about how to take that PMZ trade, and it looks like it worked out pretty well to your target. All right. So the first thing I see is we had a really nice pullback weekly wise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks down. We have an inside week right now. Okay. I can use some Fibonacci. So what I want to do is measure this weekly candle right here to the pivot low, and I'm going to find some levels. The first one that I'm going to find is the 618, because I understand that if price cannot move above this, then we are still in a downtrend off of last week's candle. And so I'm going to use these two levels, 618 and the 0.76. Now these can change and will change. Just give me a few minutes. And then we're going to keep this 0.236 and these two other levels here. And I'll explain here in a few minutes what we're doing. Notice that we have a trendy edge. This is a higher trendy edge. As long as price stays under here, then I expect price to go move down and move sideways. This was the line in the sand for trendy members today. Again, if we can't get over the mid edge, expect it to travel sideways to down for right now. Okay. All right, so these are the two levels we have right here on Costco. Now let's go ahead and work our way down, and we're looking for structure. Okay. Notice a big gap down. No structure up and to the left. The only thing that we could come up with is perhaps a gap fill. I like to use the body, which is going to be right there. Okay. And let's now go into a 4-hour. Again, no structure, just a chaotic candle. Okay, there's no structure here. This is just a sell-off candle. All right. Notice that the trendy edge, as I said, is resistance until proven otherwise. Beautiful display of how price reacts off of the trendy edge. And still nothing there because of this gap down. Okay. So we're going to move into 2-hour. And nothing here. I'll know when I get there. I'll let you guys know. All right. And I'll show you. All right. There's a 1-hour. I still see no structure. We're going to go into a 30-minute. And now we have some structure. Now I want you to see something that is very, very important about identifying structure and identifying Fibonacci on the right pivot points. Okay. Now I found you this by using Fibonacci. But notice my structure that I just found is here. This is exactly what I was looking for. Okay. The only thing is the structure itself, and I won't go into great detail here, but I'm going to bring this line down just a tad right here. So the 618 and the structure were very, very close, and that's what I wanted to see. So this is my level to the upside right now. Now, mind you, before I do this, I never look at what the overall earnings, what they're expecting. So our market makers and so forth. I don't care about that. What I care about is doing the work myself and then going and seeing what the market makers are coming up with. A lot of times doing the trending methodology, I'm able to identify when we are going to have an outsized move without people knowing there's going to be an outsized move, just by using structure and Fibonacci. Okay. So let's go ahead and we're going to use this level. And then because I have a trendy level here, I'm going to actually create this as a box. Okay, just like that. So once again, let's go ahead and create a box here. It's going to be right here. And my levels are basically 452 into 460. Current price is 437 to the upside. Okay. Matter of fact, I'm going to take, yeah, that's perfect. All right. So we're going to use that right there. Now I have to look for structure to the downside. There's a couple things. This can be difficult for some traders. You have to think about, have we been hanging out at any sort of levels on the higher time frame? Did we come into a level of demand and that's why we're pushing up? And if we did come into a level of demand, you have to think, well, if things aren't great, most likely that demand's going to hold again. And so we have to figure that out on a higher time frame. So we're going to go back over here into a monthly. Okay. And I'm looking for structure. I just want to see, like, why did we go bid here? Any reason we went bid? There's a couple things that you could do. You could use fibs. I'm going to go from the recent rally into the pivot high, and you can see that we hit the 618. So it's a golden Fibonacci. Of course, there's a reason why we went bid there, and we are staying above that level. So I want to identify, okay, I want to identify that 618 for sure. All right. So I'm going to bring this one up to the 618 there. Okay. I don't need to have this on. I don't want to confuse anybody. And then I also have my future trendy edge. And I'm going to use that line. All right. And now we're going to break it down a little bit more. All right. Now I'm looking down and to the left. All right. So check this out, folks. So I just showed you on the monthly the 618, right? But also look at the structure. Boom. We came right into the inside and up formation. Okay. This is why price is moving up from here. There is what we call demand out of this zone or unfilled orders. We don't need to go into great detail on that, but basically this is what you're looking at. Okay. On a bullish note, I will tell you that Costco came into the 618 and into a zone. It reclaimed the 618, and that is a positive. If for some reason the the earnings are negative, I would be looking for price to come back down into this level once again to test the waters. Okay. I'm going to pull this one down just a little bit on my future edge. If you notice, there is a pink line there. I'm going to zoom in for you. See this pink line here? Okay, I'm going to zoom in right there. I'm going to actually pull this down just a tad. And right now, that's going to be my zone to the downside. Let me check a few more things. There's the daily. And let's go ahead into the 4-hour. And notice that my two lines, I'm going to zoom in one more time. Notice that my two lines are in sync with a double inside and up. Okay, so there is a zone there. Then I have to start thinking, okay, where's current price? So 437, and my zone that I've picked out so far is only like $7 down. You know, you got to have some be realistic here. Like, is this a great level? In my opinion, it's too close. Okay, so I'm going to take this top line and I'm going to move it down to this structure, which is a triple inside and up. Okay, again, I teach all of this here at Trendy Trading. It's $5 to learn and to watch me trade live. But we are going to take this top line down and underneath this structure. Okay, and I'm going to use this wick right here. And I'm going to use this current edge right there. And let's go back over to, yeah, the 4 hours fine. Let's take this off, clean it up a little bit. And this is going to be my zones. And then when I'm finished, if I feel like the product is good, then I will check to see where my ranges are. Okay. So let's go ahead and annotate this really quick. Okay. Just like that. And I will annotate here, these are trendy expected range. Okay. All right, then I'm going to come over to Think or Swim just really fast and put in Costco. Now, another thing, those using volume profile or anything like that, you can always look at my levels and see if there's something that would basically line up with your methodology. And a lot of times, good traders, we may get to the same point by using different methodology. But most of us that have been doing this a long time, we basically have very close to the same levels. Okay. All right, so over here on Thinkorswim, I'm going to go to the Analyze tab, and I'm going to, I don't know if I can detach this. There we go. I'm going to detach this, and I'm going to put in right here, Costco. And it's telling me that I'm plus or minus 36 points is what they're looking for. Okay, I just want to show you guys how you get to that. All right, and you can look at the past and kind of see how Costco's done their thing. So $36. Let's do some math really quick. Okay, easy math. Let's pull out the calculator. All right, and we are looking for 452, but current price is, let's see here, right there, 438. Okay, so what I say, 452 minus 438. We're at $14, okay, to the top. And again, they're looking for 36. And the back side of this is 460. Okay, so again, 460 minus the 438. Very easy, but I'm still doing it so you guys understand. That's $22, okay, to the upside. So that's what I'm looking at there. So we're a little short to the upside, all right? So that makes you, are you right? Or are the market makers expecting too much of a move? The premium in this case, if I feel like this is where we are going to land, that means most likely people will get burnt, okay, if I'm right. All right. And it's a little bit tighter than what people are thinking. All right. To the downside, we're at 422. You could do the math just by looking at that. It's pretty close. And then 406, which is more in line with their expected move to the downside. Okay. So this zone and this zone is where I expect price to be. If I'm wrong, that's okay. But these are the zones that I would be looking for going into the earnings. And we'll go back and we'll come back and take a look at those. Now, if you wanted to, okay, if you wanted to find a different zone because you felt like, hey, I want to be more in line with the market makers, to me, we would simply just take the most recent range, okay, which is right here, and we would measure this with Fibonacci's, and we could use some fibs to find different levels. So if I just come over here, I want to show you this really quick. I come up to the pivot high, to the pivot low. You can see that this lands between the 50 and 618. I could pull this level up a little bit. That would put me at 463, which gets me a little bit closer. All right. But let's just say we're doing a debit spread to the upside. I mean, regardless, if it goes through this, we're still going to get paid. If you're trying to do an iron condor, that's a little bit different. Okay. You could raise this level up into the 463 level. Okay. And that is Fibonacci. All right, so that is Costco. Again, this is my expected range. We could also come over here, do the math, and figure out, where these guys are thinking that price could move into, and we would just add on $36 to current price, and that would give you the move that you could see to the upside. All right, so like 436, 437. Plus what they're expecting, so 473. That puts you up towards right here. Okay, so possibly at the top of this structure here. All right, I'm really interested to see this. I don't usually come in lighter than what they're looking for, so this ought to be really fun. Take note, the trendy edge is still too much resistance for Costco, but it is trying. Let's go over here to NVDA. And same thing, we're going to work here with a monthly. We came into a zone. That is one thing I will note. This was a zone that I gave our members here. And so far we've moved off of that zone. So that's a positive. This may actually just be the zone that I'm looking for, but I'm going to tighten it up a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to bring this here. I already know that the zone has worked. Let's take this off. And basically what I did was just tighten it up a little bit and use the lower trendy edge. That's that blue line down there. And so these levels, if you look over here, is 156 by 141, okay, to the downside. And to the upside, I'm going to actually, this is pretty straightforward for me. I'm going to use this structure here, and I'm going to use some fibs. So I'm going to go right here into the pivot low. We are currently sitting at, what, 167, 168. I'm going to use the 0.236, just like that. And then I'm going to use the trendy edges. So these are going to be my levels. This is going to be a lot quicker because I'm going to show you how I don't have to break everything down. That's why I have the trendy edges to help me with everything. Saves me a lot of time. And so my moves, as far as this is concerned, is going to be 183 by possible 193, so a $10 spread in there. And then to the downside, right here, possibly 155. So to the upside, possibly 166 into 183. So less than 20 bucks there. And then to the downside, same thing, 10 to maybe 20 bucks. Let's see what they are saying over here on NVDA. And they're plus or minus $16. So we're right in range by just using some trendy edges and structure and my previous demand zone. And so we're going to push this out into the room. You guys can use that. I'll put it out here on Twitter as well. And if anybody has any questions, let me know. And if you want to find out more about how to do some of this stuff, make sure you guys are checking out the YouTube channel as well, and our website at trendytrading.co.